Little shimmy. All right. Good evening. If you hear a lot of noises in the background, that's my dishwasher. Ooh. Welcome to the second installment of this year's festive crunchy spicy leaf season. Are you ready to futz around and find out? Halloween edition. Because, friends, I once again have no idea what I'm doing. It's something that I've had on my brain since I did my terrarium sleeves. As the great Christopher Walken once said, I got a fever, and the only prescription is gigantic sleeves. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. We are going to make jack-o'-lantern sleeves. Now, theoretically, in my head, this is making sense. Whether or not that's going to translate into real life, well, we're going to have to take this quest together because I'm not 100% positive. So without too much blabbing, I'm just going to get cracking on this, or get jacking on this. No, but before we do that, I just want to show you. We found this in the corner of our fireplace when we moved in. Look at how freaking cute he is. A little alfalfa here. Anyways, just thought that was cute that our house came with a little wax familiar. With that being said, let us go over to design phase.
Okay friends, for the design of this blouse, I basically want to look how I feel on the inside, which is a pumpkin. So I want to make the bodice look like pumpkin ridges and then gigantic sleeves, of course, but with lovely little jack-o'-lantern faces. And then I want to find a way to put LED lights in it and make it glow just like a jack-o'-lantern would.
So now that we've got the design pretty much plotted out, it is time to just get started on this. As far as materials for this, I don't think I'm going to need much. What I think I'm going to need: outer fabric, which is the pumpkin color. Inner fabric, because I'm going to have to make a lining for this, both for structure and also a place to slip the battery pack for the LED lights. The LED lights of which I speak. I ordered some online, got yellow. You can find them pretty easily online. They're really popular amongst superhero cosplays because people will put them in the helmets. So they make them like very small, tiny little battery pack. Not bad. Strips, which, you know, they come with two because eye holes. I also got a black mesh fabric for the jack-o'-lantern face so that it looks dark when the lights aren't on, and then when the lights are on, hopefully the yellow will shine through. I will also probably go in with my airbrush just to add some cute little pumpkin lines. And I believe, friends, that is all I need for this project, which really isn't that much. Instead of getting fabric, I ended up ordering a linen orange tablecloth for my fabric just because this is the same thing. That has not arrived yet, so we are going to focus on the inner portion of this first. Because I want this to be sort of like a corset top, I am actually just going to use the same pattern that I literally just used for Lady Billy, because it has sleeves. A lot of my corset patterns are just corsets and don't have sleeves, but I need sleeves. So we're gonna make
sleeves.
Let's do it. All right. Well, I picked a fabric from my fabric station. Dear letter R, it's me, Rachel. Why do you elude me? I picked a fabric out of my fabric stash. Lo and behold, it's this, which I think I've used about 3,762 times. Some of you may know it's wood-looking fabric. But hey man, we love a versatile queen. The base layer is not going to be anything fancy. It's just purely so that I can then sew the orange ovals onto it so we can really get that pumpkin shape. I need a place to put the battery, so I'm going to make pockets within the sleeves. And to do that, we shall be using the top portion of this Outlander pattern. I already have all the pattern pieces chopped out. I'm not going to go over this too much. I'm just going to do a time lapse because I went over it in a bit more detail in my last video. So, of course, it would help if I didn't just stick patterns all crumple-dumple back into the case. Maybe? Yes. Without further ado,
what follows is a brief
sewing
montage.
really like this pattern, I did end up doing some adjustments. So I ended up lowering the back line like this, and then the neckline as well. I also shortened the sleeves.
We hope you enjoyed this brief
Sewing
montage.
It's like, you know, when I hit the record button. Yeah, I'll take a few bagel bites. I would like to think each day is filled with small accomplishments that you should reward yourself for. And today just so happens to be me exercising enough self-control that I'm going to wait until these cool down before I eat them. Anywho, the tablecloth came, and it is a lovely shade of orange. I believe there should be plenty of fabric. Nice. So I think the best course of action for me to make these ovals that look like pumpkin ridges, double up with this fabric, sew it inside out, leaving a gap open, turn it inside out. The edges are taken care of because I always struggle with curved edges when I hem anything. Sew that directly onto the base that I have. Oh no, I'm gonna find out. So I guess a part of that is figuring out the length and such of these ovals that I want. So I'm thinking I can make those pattern pieces out of paper for now. Then I can transfer onto this fabric and not worry about anything. I'm gonna make those pattern pieces really quick. Let's do it.
So take one of this pumpkin ridge pattern was fine, but it was a little bit too skinny, and I only realized that after I chopped this out because I then thought about the fact that I am going to be sewing the edges of this and then turning it inside out, so I needed a little bit more leeway than this. So it was time for pumpkin pattern take 2. So I then did about 767 of these. Okay, it's more like 20, which is more than I needed, but I just wanted to be safe.
Good morning. Bra strap showing. The indecency. I have gotten a little more progress done this morning. Is that a word? North American past participle of get. An American past participle of get. Oh, what? Here in America, we say gotten. I got some progress done this morning. Take that, America. As you saw yesterday, I had all those little oval panels, and so this morning, did all 20 of them. It was actually pretty satisfying, and it came out pretty good, although it took me a little bit longer than I planned for, so. I took 2 panels, sewed along the edge, leaving just a little space open about yay big. Originally, it was taking me a little bit longer because I was clipping the edges up towards the curve. Realized this was not necessary, and you really only have to clip edges to relieve tension when it's more of a concave shape rather than a convex shape. Hi, baby! Oh my God! You got a munchkin! So I stopped doing that about midway through, and that saved me some time. Once that was all sewn and I had the little opening, I turned them inside out, making sure to squeeze all the little edges and make sure, you know, it's nice and rotund. I had a bunch of weird sock-looking pumpkin shapes. Whoa. I love Halloween. So then I took those sort of lumpy dumpy little pumpkin fingers, brought them over to my ironing board, ironed them out, and they look so cool and nice and crisp. This is what they look like. Huh? Pick a card, any card. I'm excited to lay these out on the base layer. I kind of like the idea of visible stitching for this. It helps it make it look, you know, like handmade and rustic. So what I'll probably do is lay them on the shirt like that and then stitch along the 2 edges with some brown thread. And I think that'll look really stinking cute. So I might save that for later because I'm very anxious to get to the sleeves. So let's talk sleeves. We are going absolutely ginormous. This, friends, this is the pattern that I'm going to be using. Basically gigantic 1800s sleeves, which I'm pretty sure I used this one for my terrarium sleeves as well. Round, rotund, globe-like effect, and that's definitely what we want here. Hey, don't dig on my Victorian couch, you menace. This is quite ridiculously large. It doesn't even fit on the table. You know, people ask why I'm a floor troll. Sometimes it just makes more sense. That's all I'm saying. I'm hoping I even have enough fabric for this. I believe I do, but let's find that out, shall we? Oh yeah, I totally have enough. I'm telling you, tablecloths, man. Untapped fabric source. Absolutely huge. Very large. I know, I should iron this beforehand, but we like to keep things spicy. By spicy, I mean enraging everyone in the comments. Trick or treat. All right, so this is so big, I cannot even capture it on my camera. Also, an added bonus of using a tablecloth or something that already has pre-finished and decorative edges, I can use that for the ruffles. A lot less added work on my part, which is what I'm all about. I like big sleeves and I cannot lie. Other ladies can't deny. That makes 2 Sir Mix-a-Lot references in 2 videos.
Billy's got back.
I don't know the rules, but I think that's too many. I am going to iron it and then I'm going to see where we want the jack-o'-lantern face to go.
In true me fashion, I decided I couldn't be bothered to use a stencil, so I started freehanding this face. And then I realized that as I was going to cut it out, I needed to allow these lines here, treat them as sort of skin flaps, and then be able to tuck those underneath and stitch on top. So cutting out a square of this black mesh fabric and sticking it underneath, I then began to pin under those skin flaps. What a visceral word. Skin flaps. Anywho, this was really difficult around the mouth. There was a lot of twists and turns, but it was much easier with the eyes and the regular triangle shapes. So now that it looks like this gourd experimented in some new age acupuncture, it was time to stitch. Now if I had had more time for this, I would have hand stitched this because it was really difficult to get around the really delicate edges with this. And I think hand stitching not only would have looked a bit more careful, but a bit more purposeful.
Okay, so I got in a bit of a groove there. Oh my god, I'll make this an NC-17 video. Ooh. What started as just an experiment led to me doing both of the sleeves. Definitely one of the most careful I've had to be with my sewing machine, and so the final result, I wouldn't say it's immaculate. It's still a little bit messy and there are parts where the fray is coming through. Folded under part kind of came a little loose. It is what it is. I'm just gonna go with it's rustic. Planning to airbrush the openings a little bit, so I think some of that will be hidden with shading. I have this. Ta-da! Cute. Before we get to airbrushing and before we get to the shading, I have a feeling I need this to be a little bit more stiff than it is if I want these sleeves to look like pumpkins and if you want to actually see the jack-o'-lantern face and not like that, you know, which I feel like still might happen, but we'll see. I purchased Stiff and Quick. So I think I can just spray this on, especially around the face. I think I'll do one coat for the whole thing and then maybe go over the face part a couple more times with this. I'm just gonna spray this on, let it dry, because I do want to actually work on the blouse part and add all of those pumpkin ridges. Let's try to quickly stiffen this, shall we? Okay. So kind of focusing this in a circle around the face. And I'm already tired of spraying this. Okay, whew. Now that my wrists are burning. Well, now I guess we just wait. That looks really scary. So now I'm just gonna wait for these to dry and move on to the bodice. What do you think?
This part definitely got a little tricky around the back, so I ended up doing sort of an overlapping design so that it would be angled, and then I could do the same thing on the other side. Not pictured is how many times I unpinned all of these and repinned them so that they would work. But then I took it to my machine and stitched all around the edges, and I think it looks pretty cool. It's still kind of messy, but I was planning to airbrush the edges anyways.
Airbrush time! We have got the sleeves here. The stiffener seems to be working pretty well. It's definitely stiffer than it was. I'm going to throw some dark brown into my airbrush here. And I'm just gonna darken up some of the facial holes in hopes that it'll add like some depth and look kind of cute and spooky. Keep it nice and subtle. My employees in my brain office threw out the word subtle early on in my life, so let's give it a shot. I don't know what it is. I can never get airbrushes to work for me. Why? This is looking a lot creepier than I planned. Well, shit. I guess we're leaning into the creepy because, oh my god. It's Halloween, right? Well.
Thankfully, my airbrush finally hit a sweet spot, so I went in, added some of that shading in between the ridges of the bodice. And then, my friends, it was time for the moment of truth to figure out what these sleeves were actually going to look like. So I gathered on top and on bottom. Can you tell I was watching Outlander? But yay, the sleeves look so stinking cute. They look like little pumpkin lanterns or those festive trash bags that you put your leaves in. Thankfully, having that inner sleeve helped a ton when it came to pinning this onto the bodice. All I had to do was pin the lower sleeve to the lower sleeve and then the upper sleeve to the upper sleeve. Once the sleeves were attached, I was able to move to the finishing touches, which includes the embroidered little grommet holes, and I think it looks really stinking cute and is in fact ready for the reveal.
Ta-da! Oh, a little shimmy. All right, the blouse is done. All right, y'all, I got a lot of thoughts on this. I think it is about 60 to 70% there. I definitely have some things I would want to fix. You know, it took me a little bit longer than I thought, so I did run out of time a little bit towards the end, especially in regards to trying it on beforehand and placing the LED lights. It has its problems. They're very lumpy. I expected, and I think it kind of works. Like I said, it kind of looks like trash bag sleeves. A jack-o'-lantern you maybe left on your porch for a tad bit too long. So I probably should have eliminated some of the fabric up top, and so that when I gathered it, they would be more like that and not so droopy. Pumpkin facelift. Because the LED lights are up here, it's kind of just like in the forehead. I would have wanted it to be, you know, like right in the mouth, like a real jack-o'-lantern. This sleeve definitely came out a bit better than... So sad. Oh no. Scrungly. The LED lights are not quite as bright as I thought they were gonna be. They're definitely pretty diluted. Good for like a very subtle candlelight kind of effect, but not really for kind of what I was thinking. I couldn't have known until I lit those babies up and put them inside, which I only did today. So that's on me. I kind of feel like a Mickey Mouse pumpkin. So that's good. That's an aesthetic. All in all, I think it's really whimsical and cute. I think it's really cool getting like a glimpse of the LED lights on the inside. I think it, like I said, it could have been done better, but for what it is, for the time that I had, I think these are really stinking cute. Very casual. Ask me about my pumpkins. That's it. It was just a fun, creepy little project that I wanted to do. Get me in the festive mood. And I hope that you guys had fun, and I hope maybe at least one of you tries this. I'd be very interested to see how people can do it and kind of fix the mistakes that I made. Life is too short to have boring sleeves is my new mantra. Oh. That is it. I love you whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload most Fridays and we have fun here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! This is the great Christopher... where is it? Oh, nope. It's over here. Just a throwaway brown fabric. Brown fabric. I went over it. What? Did I just have a stroke? Oh no, am I doing it again? Slipping into blue from Blue's Clues?
Why are you blowing so spitty? Blow like this.
I'm not blowing so
You're going-
spitty.
You may blow it up.
Haha.
Hold on, I wasn't very close.
Why blowing so spitty? Rude.